Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, and my name is Karina. It is 5:40 in the morning. I'm walking out to the barn to feed the horses. It is Friday, January 5th, the 12th day of Christmas. So this will be my final episode for the Advent and Christmas season. And then I will return to regularly scheduled podcasts in this month. We are leaving for Texas to visit family next Thursday. So I won't have an episode next weekend, but maybe I'll get some footage. So here's the creek. There's the neighbor's house with their lights still on. Yay for them, in the spirit of the 12 days of Christmas. This is the outfall of the creek where there's a large pool. This is upstream. There's the house and our Christmas tree with lights still on. We'll be taking that down this weekend. There's the barn. So I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for this final episode, and I think my plan is to show you my knitting projects I'm going to take to Texas. We're only going to be gone for 5 days, so I have to be reasonable about this. My trainer's coming over to help me with Bragi today, and I may get some footage from that too. It really depends on whether she's doing a lot of the handling or if I'm doing a lot of the handling. It's harder for me to film. I see the boys over by the far fence. I just see the reflection of their eyes, so you won't be able to see them. And I'm at the barn, so I'm gonna feed. Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. So here I am getting all fancy. I am set up in the dining room, which we really only use for formal occasions. These photos are of my grandparents on my dad's side, and the painting is by my sister. The camera, which is my phone, the camera is set up on a tripod that I originally bought to film myself while riding or training one of my horses, and I got this quite a long time ago. So it has this nifty little remote start thing and stop. And I must have got this in 2019 because I was thinking of doing a remote lesson with a trainer who lives in Florida. And I live in the Pacific Northwest. So I did it for a little while, but then it just got to be a hassle, and I think we just had the one remote lesson and it kind of fixed whatever problem I was trying to solve. And then I decided that I was just gonna ride. I wasn't gonna film myself. However, I kept the gadgetry, and since I am getting fairly into podcasting, I thought I would try this. So I'm going to start with what I am wearing. This is like women's jacket. I don't remember who the pattern is by. Has the bell sleeves. It's a seamed piece with a collar and buttons and a cabled top, and then basic stockinette on the bottom, and then it just opens up to air out your tummy if you like. I tend to wear this either under like a big rain jacket like a London fog, or just a vest, because it's really too big to fit under like a tight close-fitting jacket with sleeves. So that's how I typically wear this. And since today is the 12th day of Christmas. So it's the last day of Christmas. I thought I would end this with my red Christmas sweater that I tend to wear this time of year. I actually finished it, I think, in August or September of 2018. Yeah, that would be right. 2018. So it was ready for fall and winter of that year. So going through my parade of whips and what I am going to take to Texas. So this, sorry for the crinkling, the yarn is still in the package. So this is the Boyland Knits sweater that is too short. It is meant to be cropped, but it just sits at my waistband. And I prefer my sweaters to be longer than that. I do wear this with like a shirt underneath, but it's still too short. So what my plan is, I'm going to take out the ribbing and then just continue the body. So the body is, I don't know how many stitches each band is, but one band has, is kind of a lace pattern, as you can see, and the other band, I think, is a purl stitch that's in there periodically. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So this is knit out of Brooklyn tweed overtones, and so I bought a skein of yarn, and I will wind that up, find the needles, find the pattern, and take this to Texas too. Because one thing I find is that when I have to do projects like this, I like having moral support, and being around my mom gives me the right kind of moral support to do this kind of work. Speaking of projects that are not exactly going well, I will bring out the Riverside sweater that I have not, it's been on timeout for a couple days, and I kind of wanted to, while I'm talking with you, so I had a suggestion. I was going to rip out the ribbing, the red ribbing, and put in more of this gray brown because I have a lot of gray brown. And I had a suggestion from Sherry. Thank you, Sherry, very much for your comments and suggestions. I really appreciate them. Was to rip all the way back to this red stripe and then re-knit it so that it's more brown, and that the red is more of a highlight than a main color. So I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I can do that, because actually I'll rip out all the way up to this section, because then I'll do this color change section, brown, and then red will be a highlight, and this will be brown with white and red, and then I can do this color change section again, and it can be white, that's fine, and then knit this section again, and then the ribbing will be in brown. So I think I'm going to finish the top, and I need to rip out, I might redo the sleeves as well. That's kind of a big redo, and I have thought about doing a frogged projects or redo projects knit along. I may do that. I haven't committed yet, so that's why I am being mamby-pamby about it. I kind of want to focus on maybe I could start with this Boyland knit sweater. That'll be the start of the knit along, and then maybe I will have, I have a couple of redo projects, quite honestly. So that's where that is. That's the Riverside sweater. I think there could be cats behind me. I hear some thumping out there. They are not happy that they are not in this room with me. I wanted to show you the shawl that I've been working on. This is an Advent shawl. So last night, so it's all on one needle now, so it's going to be hard to show. But what I wanted to show is that this was in kind of in stripes and in stripes, and now it's going all the way around. And I have chosen from this Polka Dot Creek bouquet, I have chosen, it's kind of a sparklyish brown color. So I'm kind of not sure where I'm going with this in terms of color. I mean, it's definitely started out with pink and it has evolved into more purples and kind of browny purples. So I'm on day 14 and there's 25 sections. So I need to find 11 more, and I'm kind of thinking maybe this color here, this color here. There's another brown. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. Probably take the blues out of this bouquet, the blues and the greens, and then maybe just leave it with the brown. Oh, why don't I do that right now so we can think about this. There's green. There's blue. So what I am left with is kind of, I don't know about this yellow either. So what I am left with is this bouquet of kind of purples and gray and white and brown. And I think that might go with this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have to find 6 more colors out of my stash. And one of the things I meant to do before I started recording was go find some yarn for another project that I'm going to show you here in a minute. So, and I may, you know, depending on how my lesson goes with Bragi, I may still be able to do that. So, oh, look, I found that color, which goes with that color. So see if that fits in the scheme of things. So I could look here in what I already have for scraps in this bag. That's kind of it. Everything else has been used. So I'm not entirely sure about that color. So that is that project. I want to get this project done before the end of January, or by the end of January, and I think I can do that. It's, you know, each segment of this is supposed to go for one day, and I kind of do that. It might be a couple days, but I think so I'll knit on this between now and when we leave, and then we'll be back late on the 17th, and then I'll still have the 18th through the 31st to finish that. And I'll talk about why I want to finish that here shortly, because I kind of want to talk about future plans. So I showed you this morning. This is the Pacific Co. knits. So this was from the it was like 4:15 or so that I showed you this. So I'm almost done with this little tree section. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. So this will be a lot nicer when it's blocked, but this is a double thickness sweater. It's knit in the round with different winter motifs. And I'm kind of in the vegetation motif section. So there's trees, there's like holly leaves, and looks like maybe pine cones. So I might have to find some brown yarn for that in here. Because I'm doing mostly scraps out of this. The main color is a skein of undyed Polka Dot Creek yarn. So that's what I'm doing for that. And I'm thinking of taking this one along. So this one, the sweater that I am going to redo or add to, and then the sock. So this is a Advent skein, self-striping yarn by Freckled Whimsy. And so I'm just using a plain knit in the round 2x2 rib, 15 rounds, I think. And then so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm on the 12th stripe. I think there's 24 stripes, 24 or 25 stripes. I'm using Chowgu red lace. I assume there's 2 stripes per wait, how do I want to say that? 2 stripes of the same color in the skein, because you have to knit 2 socks. I am thinking of knitting a knee sock. So this is my example of a knee sock. This is a commercially made sock, probably smart wool is my guess. I really like to wear these under riding boots. So I am going to use this as a guide of how much more. So it looks like I need to knit about 5 or 6 inches. So I'm going to use that as a guide for this. And then what I was thinking, the reason why I wanted to get another skein, I was thinking of using, just to make sure I have enough yarn so the socks mostly match, I was going to get a skein of, or some leftover yarn of Freckled Whimsy that sort of is in this color range, and do the foot, just to make sure I have enough. So part of it will depend on how much yarn I have left, which I will weigh after I finish the length of this. The heel, it will be in the contrast color, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, so the foot may be of a different skein, still from Freckled Whimsy. So that is my parade of whips. Let me, the sock actually needs to be washed, so I will put that over there. But these are the 3 projects that I am going to take along. Forgot to mention bags. So my mom made this bag, nice drawstring bag. I love it. She also made this bag, quilted dragonfly, with it's lined and it has a pocket. So very nice bag. The zipper occasionally catches my yarn if I'm not careful, so I need to be more careful, but I really like that bag too. It looks like it could use maybe some laundering, because it goes with me everywhere. So why do I want to finish the shawl by January 31st? Because Valenvent. Sorry, I have this pile of stuff in front of me. So getting used to this fancy business of videoing. Because of Valenvent. The Bakery Bears hosts a knit along called Valenvent, and it's usually starts on February 1st and goes to the 14th. Last year it was a cowl. Last year might have been the first year. I don't recall though. So it might have been a cowl. I'm sure it was a cowl. I ended up knitting a different pattern, and the design of the cowl for last year was for your Advents that maybe you didn't knit during Advent season. I ended up making up my own pattern, so that was that multicolored cowl that I've shown in previous videos before. Just because I didn't have an Advent, and I was using scrap yarn, and I wanted to incorporate a lace pattern. So the second reason why I want to finish is that I want to I'm thinking of casting on a skirt. I showed it, the pattern in yesterday's video is from a crochet magazine from 2012, and it will be crocheted. I need to figure out whether or not, so I want to use the brown yarn from the Riverside sweater. I need to figure out if I will have enough. I have quite a lot of the brown yarn, but I don't know if I have enough for finishing the Riverside sweater and a skirt. So I will have to think about that. So those are 2 kind of immediate on my mind future cast-ons. And on that note, I have some grocery shopping to do. I was planning on doing that this morning. Going up to the co-op, the Skagit Valley Co-op, which I have mentioned before. I say that I'm going to film this nifty little store and then I forget because I get in a hurry, and I want to make sure I get a chocolate croissant when they're warm out of the oven, of course. And then I just want to get my grocery shopping done and the rest of my errands done and get home so I can knit. I have a lesson today with Bragi at 11:30. I will try to get some footage of that. Again, as I mentioned before, it really depends on whether I'm doing the horse handling or whether my trainer's doing the horse handling, and sometimes that just depends on how things are going. So I will have a little indie bits, to borrow a phrase from the Bakery Bears. I will have a little ending section of this. Just not sure what it's going to be yet. So on that note, I'll see you later. Hi again. So I had my lesson with Bragi, and I didn't get any footage because I was doing all the horse handling, which is actually really good because that means that I was communicating with him and he was understanding what I meant, and my trainer was just able to coach me from afar rather than having to take him and show him and show me how to communicate. So we worked on, I showed her what we had done with the cone game and all the steps that we had taken to prepare for him to wait at a certain place, which is what the cone marks, and then I can walk away, I can open a gate, I can come back, I can pick up his lead rope and ask him to back up and do other things. So she was super happy with that. She showed me a couple other things that I can work on to help prepare him for getting in the horse trailer. And then we actually came up to the front where my horse trailer is, and we just practiced working with him with the cone in this environment. So for horses, it's a different environment, so you could get a completely different, or they could have a completely different understanding of what they're supposed to do. Ideally, it translates over, and generally it does with horses that have some confidence and understand that what they are supposed to do. So that went really well. My trainer put the cone in the back of, opened up the back of the trailer and put the cone in there, had him touch it and stand there and wait, and he relaxed, and that was the end of the session. So I have a few things to work on. Part of it is just helping him understand that he needs to move his hindquarters over, and I can stand in a certain position away from him and it's fine, and also work on getting him to be relaxed with the cone in the trailer. So that's what our assignment is, and that's what we're going to do. On the knitting front, I did find needles, and the pattern for the sweater that I am going to lengthen is called Miserina. It uses a size 4. Unfortunately, I have a lot of size 4 needles now, so this will be going with me if we do indeed go to Texas. So our weather forecast is still a ways out, but our weather forecast is for -1 degrees Fahrenheit as the low, which is really cold for this area. I mean, we get frost, we get light frost frequently. Sometimes we get into the 20s, and that's not unusual, but getting down to even teens and single digits and then negative temperatures is really unusual. So I'm going to have to think about that. I don't know what is, we're just going to have to keep our eye on the weather. I mean, the reason why this is important is because of potential power outages, which means, making sure the horses have access to water, because obviously it's going to freeze. If we don't have power and I'm not able to plug in the tank warmer, that means I'm going to have to be out there several times a day breaking ice for them. So I can't expect a house sitter to do that. And certainly with those temperatures, there's going to be trees falling down around here, which will cause power outages. So that is kind of the news for this 12th day of Christmas. I am going to take my cup of tea and the shawl and go back and watch the Bakery Bears January episode. This is the scarf, so this one can stay here and this one can stay here. So on that note, thank you very much for enjoying Advent or Vlogmas and the 12 days of Christmas with me, and I will see you later in January. And this is the little nifty clicker. It usually takes more than one time.